Good luck.
All right, so what's going on, YouTube? Back at you with another one. Hopefully the first of many. I'll let my boy here introduce himself.
What's going on, y'all? It's Derek Demone on Instagram.
Cool.
So this guy Derek.
Yeah, so this is basically like a bit of a podcast, where myself, Derek, maybe a couple other people, we'll be discussing, current events, different things that are going on with each other, kind of like a self-improvement talk that hopefully other people can chime in on and relate to. So yeah. I guess I'll start this off by saying what's a high point or two that you had this week, man?
I mean, honestly, work has been going pretty good. Hasn't been stressful. Which is a pretty good high point. You don't want work to stress you out.
And I guess a low point too. I mean, this is the first one, bro. So we getting through it, man. Yeah. So what's the low point, bro?
These protests is I'm seeing a lot of disheartening things that you just don't want to see. But
yeah, trust me, bro. It's gonna get edited before I actually put the shit out there, so we can still talk the regular shit. But yeah, no, man. I mean, I think just the fact that all this shit that's going on right now, it's hard not to be affected by this motherfucking shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I had a whole meeting at work just about what's going on, like the protests and everything. Like the CEO of my company and my job, we were just all talking about it.
Yeah.
And it's really just a lot. There's a lot to take in the whole year. Shit is really getting out of hand, bro.
Yeah, man. I think
that's why I don't really like watching the news anyway. It's all a bunch of negative stuff. But I mean, this is a lot to take in, honestly, with all these protests and like Antifa and stuff like that. Like,
nah, man. I mean, honestly, the shit that we were talking about with the phone earlier, I mean, the news, I don't even believe the news anymore, bro. Because if you really think about it, it's slanted. Because, all right, so take the conversation that we had a couple months ago where I was talking about Trump and how Trump might not necessarily be what everybody thinks he is. You know what I'm saying? How for there to be, a good, there's a bad to it.
Yeah.
When you watch CNN and how, so when he said if they start looting, we gonna shoot. Then you take that coupled with the fact that you got those, deep state agents, the Antifa dudes. So he's really talking about them. He's not talking about the peaceful protests. He's talking about them.
Which is true, but it's also
dude was saying how it's like he said it's the Clinton News Network, CNN. So it's really like when he said that, I'm like, yo, it changes your perspective on a lot of different shit.
Fake news and stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, because he was saying not for people to. It's not that he's asking people to be Trump supporters, but literally just pay attention and watch and get informed of what's really going on. Because think about it. Notice how they haven't deployed National Guard out there yet. It's your city. If you're the governor and you see all these things going on in your city, why would you not deploy the National Guard?
Talking about in New York City?
I'm talking about everywhere.
They did it in Minnesota, and they did it in a couple places where it was getting like out of hand. I think Atlanta, no. Yeah. Was there National Guard in Atlanta?
I don't think so. I don't think so. No, I didn't hear that.
That's where it was getting really crazy.
Yeah.
And it's still going crazy. It's looting away like you were saying over the phone, like 8 days in a row. It's gonna be the 8th day in a row that they're looting.
No, I mean it's been going on. It's been going on long enough. It's just so you have everything that's been going on at a surface level. So it's Black Lives Matter, pretty much us versus police, and it shouldn't be us versus police. It's not us versus police.
Yeah,
it's us versus the things that police are doing. Pretty much what I was saying earlier.
Racial injustice.
Yeah, it's us versus racial injustice. Then I don't even know if you've seen the video. It was white people, pretty much. Well, not white people, but I guess people contrary to Black Lives Matter. Well, I guess they say white people. But basically, they were saying all lives matter. I'm like, yo, if you're gonna say all lives matter, then it must not be all lives matter if it don't include us. If it don't include Black people,
all lives matter. All lives don't matter unless Black lives matter.
Nah, exactly.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, you might as well say certain lives matter or white lives matter. Pretty much. Like I'd rather people just keep it real and just say that. versus saying,
which is true. It's like, how could you say all lives matter if Black lives don't matter? It doesn't make any sense.
I said on my Instagram earlier, I said all lives didn't matter when blacks were brought to this country, beaten, raped, murdered, enslaved, oppressed. You know what I'm saying? Like it didn't matter back then. So why? You know what I mean? Just say certain lives matter. If you're gonna, you know what I mean? If you're gonna say that, just be real.
They just not trying to be blatant with it. But we get their message. Even though they're trying to be discreet with their racism, it's still the same shit.
But I don't know. The thing is, I don't know how, I feel about a lot of shit. And I mean, maybe it's just me taking what, dude was talking about to the extreme, but it's like, I don't know how November's going to go for me in terms of voting, really. Because it's kind of like, I would be, I mean, put it like this. It's like everybody who they vote for, it's kind of like I said, a lot of people probably say, fuck Trump. A lot of rich people, a lot of celebrities, but you don't know what they're actually doing when they go to the ballot to actually go vote.
Which is true, yeah. You don't know anybody.
Yeah. Just because I can say fuck Trump, but if he benefits me economically, I could just go. What's stopping me from just going to go and vote for him behind closed doors or behind a closed ballot? But publicly, I'm out of the nigga.
Because he's for the rich people. He benefits the rich people, of course.
No, I mean, I think there's a lot of black Republicans out there. They might not be how should I say like overt with it, because most people aren't going to tell you who they're voting for because that's their business. Well, I mean, it's basically what I was saying. I'm like, yo, a lot of celebrities, to me it doesn't matter you being out there. It's like use the resources that you have to fucking help. So right. So I mean, they are using it in one way. I didn't watch the video, but I seen John Boyega. I guess he was out in London. He was crying about some shit. He was like, I'm not sure if I'm gonna have a career after this, but fuck it. Like I saw it on Twitter, but I didn't watch what he said though.
What was he doing? He was just
I mean, he was out there. I guess he had a speech that he was saying, which is cool, and I get that. But it's kind of like I was saying before that everybody can afford to say something, but it costs a lot more to actually get out there and do something. And sometimes inaction and not doing something is just as loud as doing something. You get what I'm saying? So it's like actions speak louder than words, and the absence of action is almost just as loud, if not louder than that.
But it's crazy how powerful that statement is too, because the dude's saying he might not have a job after that.
Because it's smoke and mirrors. Like the whole, like when he was talking about how like Hillary Clinton on trial right now. Yeah. And how the whole what was it, like Blackout Tuesday was first. All right. So first of all, he said that Black Lives Matter was created. It was created and is funded by George Soros. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
George Soros, yeah, I've heard of him, but yeah, I never heard of that.
Then the whole Blackout Tuesday and how basically everybody did that. So he immediately broke that whole shit down, like the definition of a blackout and all of that, and how everybody posted Blackout Tuesday was so that they were able to pretty much, like, how, so let's say when they say how if there's like a whole big celebrity thing, it's usually a distraction for something else. So there's something more important actually going on that people don't know about because they're too busy focused on the BET Awards or the Oscars or some shit like that. So when let's say when people were saying hashtag Oscars so white, that was because something else is going on. So she's on trial for a whole bunch of shit right now.
Oh wow.
And then he was like, how we're lucky that she's not in office because the way that Trump handled, coronavirus, COVID-19 is not the way that she would have handled it. She would have handled this whole rioting thing a completely different way. And I was like, wow, because I voted for her, back in the day, like back in 2016. I was like, yo, like us as youth, we're not like politically responsible, and they're not always going to be around to fucking clean up our mess. Because I don't really, I think I ingest as much news as, like, let's say the average person, but we got to do a lot more, even on the local fucking level. You know what I mean?
And we got to start by fucking voting, getting all these elected officials, not voting for these fucking racist ass people, racist ass judges, racist ass sheriffs, cops.
No, that's a fact.
I mean, look at Spring Valley. shit about to get taken over by the Jews because they
It
coming.
it already is.
Coming together.
It's already taken over by Jews, bro. It already is, man.
Like if they see the blueprint happening right in front of them, and like you know what I mean, like we can do the exact same thing. Group economics.
Yeah, but we're not. We're not organized, and that's why I was watching a YouTube video earlier, and dude was pretty much speaking on his opinion as far as what's going on right now, and then he was pretty much saying that Black unity and this whole movement is disingenuous because we didn't protest when Nipsey Hussle died last year, and we didn't protest when Pop Smoke died.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I agreed with, I say, half to maybe 3/4 of what he was saying. But this is my opinion on it, and then you can speak on the shit after that. So this is my thing. You can't say, oh, well, Black people didn't protest when Nipsey Hussle died. This is why. Because if you're pretty much protesting gang culture, this isn't going anywhere. This isn't in my opinion, this shouldn't be, and I don't think it is, but this isn't a protest against racism because racism isn't going anywhere. Racism is basically the foundation through which this country is built on, and if you removed it, you basically be dismantling this whole entire country. Think about it. This country minus racism is not the United States of America. It's a completely different country. So in my opinion, you can't protest how people choose to live their lives. You can't protest people's beliefs. So let's say Nipsey Hussle died, and then they were gonna go ahead and say, all right, well, we're protesting, the fact that he got shot. Well, that was Nipsey Hussle's choice. Because what bothered me the most about that shit was that earlier that day, he said that having strong enemies is a blessing. And then that same day, he passed away. He got shot. So honestly, in your opinion, bro, would it make sense for people, would it get anywhere if people said we're protesting gang culture? Gang culture has been around for a long ass fucking time.
I think people protesting to bring awareness to a certain cause. I think it's right that they should have protested after Nipsey Hussle died. Because if that's a community leader, like it wasn't just like a gang member, you know what I mean? It was a community leader.
Nipsey Hussle was a Crip, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
But
he did well for his community.
Oh no, I'm for sure not saying that. But what I am saying is that a protest for that would have been futile because at the end of the day, because he was saying, well, you heard people say, oh, well, people only care about Black people dying when a white person does it. That's not true. That's not true. People cared about Nipsey Hussle. Obviously, the whole world, took a pause when Nipsey Hussle died. That's not true.
They did have a little protest though.
I don't remember that, but it's kind of like you can't
not for Pop Smoke, but when Nipsey died, like they did a lot for him.
Yeah, but my thing with Nipsey Hussle is just the fact that you can't protest. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. I feel like he knew his life, the lifestyle that he chose to live was a scorpion when he picked it up. My opinion, because I'm like, shit, if I could respond to dude on YouTube, I probably would have said that. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. Like Pop Smoke knew he had enemies, and that happened pretty much by mistake. Because what happened? He was in a hotel. He posted a Louis bag that had his address on there, and then niggas find out where he was, and then went in off them. How can you protest that if dude was a Crip just like Nipsey Hussle was, and they had enemies? Gang culture is not going anywhere, so you can't protest that.
I mean, so you think that they shouldn't be protesting racism and cop brutality?
I think it's a protest for reform because you can't change the way that people fundamentally think. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell somebody. You can't tell it's not because what we need is policy and protection on a legal level. We don't need for people to think the way that we do because you can't, right? Because you could tell me the sky is blue, and even if I pretend that you change my mind, I could wait. There's no guarantee I'll wake up tomorrow feeling the same way. If somebody grew up their whole entire life being taught racism, you think that that's going to be changed? So so for instance, there's a lot of older people that you see feeling like that. So you have a 55-year-old person who's lived their whole entire life feeling one way. What about that is going to change in a matter of?
They shouldn't be empowered
in a matter of months. It's not. It's just not going to happen.
if we became more powerful than them, we wouldn't have that problem. So on the reform in the sense that we become more powerful, yeah, but of course they're gonna try to stop us from.
Well, reform. Not what I mean. Reform is when dude was saying that you got to get rid of all the police. I mean, which I don't think is probably gonna happen. You get rid of all the fucking police. Like I was telling you earlier, how if Obama went and passed a national blue alert, which is like I said, that expediting the process of charging and arresting people who seriously injure and kill police officers, why can't we have a national black alert that speeds the apprehension and charges against people who severely injure and kill black people? That's the reform. That's what you need. You need reform on the state and local level. That's what this protest is about. You can be racist. That's fine. You can be racist, but all we're saying is that you and I, as young black men, shouldn't have to worry about our safety in police custody, which in my opinion should be the safest place in the world, is police custody, because they're there to protect and serve. As far as we know, they got all the guns, they got all the infrastructure. So if I'm surrounded by 4 police officers, what should I have to be worried about? Like, in a perfect world, I shouldn't be worried about anything. But that's not the case.
Yeah, that's true.
Not the case. So that's what we should be protesting. If people are protesting against racism, it's not going to work, because it's not going anywhere. There is no United States of America without racism. It's just not. Because black people built this country.
Shouldn't.
Black people built this country.
I was about to say there shouldn't be no United States of America.
Black people built this country.
Native Americans.
And why were black people brought here? Because of racism, hundreds of years ago. If people are going to change, if people, and that's the thing. You know what I always used to think? I always used to think that the reason why there's no segregation anymore and all of that was because this is the thing. I was a kid, so when Martin Luther King got shot, I thought that because he got shot, that's what changed everybody's minds. Growing up, that's what I thought. People still fucking racist. People are just as racist now as they were back then. Clearly, you just see it. The fact
because of social media, niggas see it now. Technology now it's caught on camera, but it's the same tactics. You wonder how many other black people, because I was seeing what is it, Rodney? What was the man that got brutally beat by the cops? And it was the first televised cop beating.
Yeah, Rodney King.
Yeah, Rodney King. Yeah. And that was in 1968 or something like that. 1978, something crazy like that.
I have no idea.
It was like 91.
But yeah, I don't really know.
It was something like shockingly. It was 91. Yeah, it was 91, and that's mad early. I mean, that's mad recent. You know what I mean? 91 was the first televised cop brutality. So imagine how bad it was back then. When
it was 1992.
It was 1992.
Yeah,
that's mad recent, and that was the first televised one. So now we're just getting a little bit of a voice and speaking up. So it's about to be like the Civil Rights Movement Part 2. You see how they did us the first time? They burnt down everything. They really just you know what I mean? They really bombed our neighborhoods back then.
Right. Yeah, but I mean,
bombed our neighborhoods, burnt down whole blocks, whole territories back then.
Well, I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think this is gonna be. I mean, again, we're talking surface level. I don't think it's gonna be no. I don't think it's gonna be no.
I mean, that's where it's headed. If niggas continue rioting and doing shit like that, I mean, we should be doing the opposite, because we were more powerful back then.
Because
when we was creating our own neighborhoods and we had our own businesses, we had our own. We dead ass had 10 by 10, we had whole neighborhoods, whole little villages in Manhattan or whatever. I don't even know if it was in Manhattan, but Oklahoma or whatever the case may be. Whole neighborhoods is just black-owned businesses, black business, black families, black doctors, black dentists, black lawyers, black teachers. We need to bring that shit back.
Infrastructure.
That would get their attention more than fucking rioting and looting.
The thing is, that sounds great in theory, and that would be the solution. But we're so black people are so codependent on the system that fucking bullies. It's like I told you, we're dependent on the bully. You know what I mean? Because they're the ones.
But we're so stupid, we don't realize we outnumber them. We dead ass outnumber them. We have more economic power than them.
If
why can't we create our own societies like Black Wall Street, like we did back then.
Because Black people were a lot more united back then. Now it's you got social media, you got the way that we feel about each other. You got the way
easier. That's what I'm saying. It should be easier to organize a civil rights movement now, a successful civil rights movement now with social media and stuff like that. So I get it. The rioting and looting is all right. Like, we got their attention, but now we're gonna do, like,
because
we need our own societies. We need to build, like, you know,
the reason why it's harder is because we don't have any resources. Yeah, we have the numbers. Clearly, as you can see, for the most part,
we have each other.
Minus
don't need for all this shit.
All that minus the stragglers, we have numbers. We just don't have the resources. This is what I was telling my sister. I was like, hey, if you are a celebrity, that's great. You can go out there, that's fine. But a lot of these celebrities, they got M's in the bank. You know what I mean? They got M's. So what's like the only one who I seen who put up a decent amount of money was The Weeknd, who put like 500,000, $500,000 towards, bailing people out of jail. That's great. But everybody needs to, just like I said, having our own first aid for people, available. That's what I would do. If I had the funds and I said that I cared as much as some of these celebrities say that they care about it, so put your money where your mouth is. Because it's easy just to say, oh, all right, yeah, I support y'all, I stand with y'all, and go show up and do what everybody else is doing. But what do you say when we don't have first aid? What do you say when we don't have protection? Because remember,
that's what I'm saying. We need our own shit. We need our own shit. We don't need white people for resources, bro. We got everything we need in our own communities. If we did have to pull our own monies, and this one went to school, became a doctor, and we all push a business towards him, or this one, we really can create our own societies. Right there, it could be a little microcosm of how we start that shit.
Well, the people who have, because you need money, and the people who have the money and have the resources, they're not really putting up the money like that because they're probably all in cahoots.
Dude, if I became a millionaire, when I become a millionaire, I'm gonna create my own little society, man. Our own little island, except Black people in the community.
Nah, man, I feel you, but that I don't know. But to me, like, did you hear about Jay-Z putting any money up? All you heard was his little memo that he put out, which I don't approve of. This it's essentially what he was saying.
Yeah, I don't even really believe in Jay-Z as like a Black figure for us. Because he's a business tycoon. He a businessman. He oil tycoon. These guys got M's and 500 million. So you mean to tell me you can't take $10,000 and then say, all right, here's $10,000 worth of first aid supplies, first aid kits for peaceful protesters, and then you put people on the payroll to distribute that for people who need it. You mean to tell me, because I just recently found out that you don't need a gun license to purchase a rifle. I didn't know that. Like you can go buy a shotgun. A pistol.
Yeah, you need a license for a pistol, but I didn't know that you can just go and buy a shotgun. You can just go and buy an AR.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So you mean to tell me these celebrities who say that they care, who have these militant, words and all that stuff, you mean to tell me you can't hire some people to go help out? Like, I don't know if I was telling you how there was a video I seen on Instagram where it was this dude who, it was pretty much on the street. It might have been in Georgia somewhere. And you have police down the street. Then you had maybe 2 to 4 Black guys pacing back and forth with assault rifles, keeping the police at bay. So the police knew, all right, you know what? Well, if we fire at them, there's going to be equal gunfire back at us. You think that they be doing what they be doing?
That's exactly what we need.
That's why the police do what they do, because they know there's not going to be any consequences, because they're the only ones with guns. They're the only ones with guns. They're the only ones with guns. Mm-hmm. We don't have anything. And then these celebrities who say, this is why honestly it's really like celebrity worship and like pop culture is so fallible, it's not even funny, because we don't even realize that a lot of the people that we look up to, they got millions of followers, they got all the fucking resources, they're not doing shit.
Hey, facts.
They're not doing shit. Like, I'm not gonna front. I like Big Sean and everything like that, right? I seen it was yesterday. I seen he put a video out and then he was like, yeah, guys, whatever the fuck everybody else is fucking saying, they got M's in the bank too.
They're all part of the same team.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what. And then if you really think about it, this is probably not even gonna be in the fucking video, but all this anti-Trump shit too. I don't know. It's I'm gonna do the research just to keep. And I told you this months ago, like before all of this shit happened. I was like, maybe like he's not what people make him out to be. You know what I mean? Like even if he's not the fucking greatest, you know what I'm saying?
But read between the lines.
But yeah, like yo, it's smoke and mirrors.
Because if you look at his track record compared to Obama's, that nigga bombed a lot more. Like Obama bombed like 2,000 people compared to what like Trump did. Like last year, he killed that one guy, that leader, whatever, that Syrian leader.
Yeah, I dude might have said that more black people died under Trump than right now. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's correct or anything like that, but you know, it's crazy.
It's a lot to think about, yo.
Oh man, you know, this is real life.
The Matrix, man. It's the Matrix. And the only way to escape this is to get some money.
Yeah, like how like literally celebrities are like just pushing this whole like I'm just sitting there contemplating like, yo, what would it have been like if Hillary? How would she have handled everything that's going on right now? Like that's just what has me thinking like, how different would it have been?
That's scary. That's scary when you think about it.
Scary, yeah. Like everything that I literally watched like 4 of his videos back to back.
Because the fucking Clintons, they raped Haiti, nigga. They really like stole millions and millions on, you know, from Haiti, of all countries, Haiti.
And it's not common knowledge.
Yeah.
Like people don't know that. Like the average people don't know that. Like that's why a lot of the stuff that people are doing to like hinder like the peaceful protesters, that's not on the news.
Yeah.
They're not talking about it. And that's a problem. That's a problem. We need our own news network, some shit. Like we need one of everything. We need our own everything because
facts. We need our own. We need a Wakanda. That's the only way to fix this problem.
That's why in one way it's like, yeah, you know, I get it and I understand both sides. You know, I'm not one-sided. So I get the point where, you know, you can look at the looting like, all right, it makes us look bad and also the types of stuff. But then when you really look at it, it's not the peaceful protesters that are doing it. It's the people who started the shit. As I said, it got started by the government, perpetuated by the government, and they're gonna end the shit because they got all the guns, they got the money, they got everything. So they're gonna end it the same way that they finished it. You know, it's kind of scary to see how, you know, this all is gonna, you know, play out, how it's all gonna end because yeah, them charging them dudes, they don't mean nothing.
It's wild because as soon as niggas started protesting, ain't nobody saying nothing about social distancing. Nobody's talking about coronavirus.
Well, because
nobody's talking about an increase in patients of coronavirus. Nobody's talking about any more coronavirus deaths.
Well,
like coronavirus went away real quick.
Well, all right. So, and I seen the diagram. You probably correct me if I'm wrong, but I saw a diagram where it was like all the like the police officers who did shit, and then like 8 or 9 of them like got charged, and then like very next to none of them faced any jail time. Now I don't know. Like this is just what I seen and heard in passing, bro.
Happens all the time. Yeah.
So basically, that's what I'm saying. So them guys getting charged doesn't mean anything. It doesn't guarantee my safety, your safety. You know what I mean? In police custody, because Sandra Bland, all she did was mouth off the cops. So I mean, and then she didn't even make it out the holding cell. She didn't even make it there. They killed her.
They killed her.
Did they go to jail? No.
Yeah.
They didn't go to jail.
Did they go to jail? Yeah, and they fabricated that you know that that mugshot. That mugshot was fake. She was dead in the mugshot. They laid her down. They flipped open her eyelids so it made it look like she was standing up. And that's how they took the mugshot. And
people go say, you know, all lives matter after some shit like that. You know what I mean? It's just, you know. So this is why this is what I'm saying. I'm like, you can't protest against that because that's just how because police officers, they don't even look at themselves as like regular citizens. They look at themselves as sovereign citizens. And then when you really look at like the structure of society and how everything is like broken down, yeah, police are a lot higher in terms of like social status than regular people are. You see what I'm saying?
Another fact.
Because I saw a video of, and this was in Atlanta, which is crazy. I saw a video of a black cop. I think you probably might have seen it. And he was like antagonizing the girl, telling her, "Oh yeah, step outside so I can arrest you." And he was laughing.
Yeah, I didn't see
He was a
that
black
video.
dude.
I saw a thumbnail. Yeah.
You know why he's doing that? Because he doesn't see himself like as a black man, and he sees himself as blue.
Police,
As a cop. He don't.
police in that
And
moment.
that's a problem. That's a problem. They don't even. It's like they got so caught up in that they don't even relate. They can't even relate to their fellow man. They can't relate to another person anymore because they don't identify themselves as a regular person. That's the problem. You can't protest that. You can't.
There needs to be better screenings for how they choose these cops. These cops were bullied growing up, and they're taking that out on the citizens for no reason.
They can do that, and that's great, but they need to pass like acts that literally hold the whole institution of law enforcement accountable for the shit that they do. Until then, until that's set in place, where they'll think twice about doing the shit where they'll get
there should be no murders. There should be minimal murders. Like
until it's a point where until it comes to a point where they know that they'll be charged, they have to pay restitution.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna keep doing what the fuck that they're doing. That's what we need. A fucking act. You know what I mean? Equivalent to the national blue alert shit and fucking restitution that comes out of the pocket of the fucking police department. If they know that they gotta pay M's, they're not gonna do it. They're not gonna do it.
They'll be locked up for the rest of their lives. That's true.
Because bro, you heard the radio footage where they were like it was like a police radio, and then they were like,
shoot them motherfuckers.
Yeah. They were like, yo, run them over. You think that's the first time that they said shit like that? Like, you don't think that they have meetings like that? You don't think that they have meetings like that, like before they head out? You know what I'm talking about?
The other cops are saying, don't say that on air. You heard what the other cops said, though?
Yeah,
as soon as you said that, right after that, you don't say that on air. So.
Yeah, so that's my point. That's why I'm like, yo, I know that when they like brief, the police officers for the day, when they clock in for the day, and then before they go out and they patrol, they do whatever they do. I'm pretty sure they get told go extra harder on niggas, bro. Go extra harder on black people.
This is probably within the culture.
What'd you say?
It's probably within the culture. Like it's just probably like
that's police culture. Yeah. But the thing is, that's not going anywhere. Police have laws in place that protect them. We need laws in place. If we're not getting it, then that's why I'm like, yo. I mean,
it's just sad that we just have to. You know what I mean? That people even have to look into that because we pay them to serve and protect. So even in the black communities, where we're paying these cops, they're killing us off. But we're the reason why they're eating. You know what I mean? We're the reason why they feed their family. So it's like in the black communities,
exactly.
Fucked up.
But they don't look at it like that. And that's a problem, but that's a problem that unfortunately we protesting is not going to fix. You know what I mean? Yeah. I wish it could, but it can't. That's just wishful thinking, because if you think about it, the end result of the civil rights movement back in the 60s, the end result wasn't the end of racism. It was laws put in place legally that gave us free reign in society for the most part. Right?
Was it civil rights?
Yeah, like that. It did not end racism clearly, as we can see.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
as we can see. But what it did do is it ended segregation.
It was pretty much like it was like, okay, niggers, you can share the bathroom with us. You can eat in the same area as us. Like
basically, yeah, pretty much.
Like citizens, you know what I mean?
Pretty much. Which obviously it was a huge step forward, because I can imagine, what the alternative. You know what I'm saying? We only see that in movies and on TV.
It was only a huge step forward because they pretty much had to. We were the only other country that was segregating people based on their skin color. So it's like,
yeah. So and the country looked bad.
Yeah,
the country looked bad. But that's what we need. So essentially, yeah, there is no protesting the way that people believe, because it just doesn't work. People are going to believe what they're going to believe, and you can't control that. People have free reign of their own minds. People govern their own minds. Protest is not going to change the way you feel. You know what I mean? It's not going to change the way that I feel either. I mean, in some cases it might, but for the most part, it's not. It's not.
Especially blow off from the steam too. Everybody been locked up in their crib like 3 months. Everybody's unemployed.
Everybody already angry.
You know what I mean? Like everybody just blowing off steam pretty much. Like, but it was by design, like you said.
Yeah, it's the
reason why everybody got masks on too.
This exactly. Yeah, that too. That too. Everybody walking around with masks on. If it wasn't for this whole corona shit, maybe it'd be easier to identify people. But I don't know if you saw that thing on news where it was a girl, and she's a protester and everything, and the newscaster was like, "Oh, what's your first and last name?" Like on live television, like trying to, you know what I mean? Like trying to get her into some shit.
She said Jane Doe.
Yeah, she said Jane Doe. I was like, "Yo, good job," because she could have easily stepped up and been like, "Yeah, my name is Sarah, blah blah blah." Then next thing you know, she's not alive anymore, which is how things go. Because I said, because this is what I was saying too. I said, this dude on YouTube said that he doesn't feel like we need leaders and that the protests are good enough by itself. I don't believe that. I don't agree. I think if we did, that's the thing. The civil rights movement back in the day, it had faces. It wasn't just Martin Luther King. It had faces.
Yeah, it had a whole organization.
Yeah, exactly. Even in people's. He was the national face, but in like local communities, you had civil rights leaders in each black community, leaders that people could turn to. That's what we need. And then they were the ones who were the line of communication between the people and then the people in charge politically, the people who can actually make change, which wasn't the black people. You know what I'm saying? We need that. That's why it's all over the place. If we had somebody, if we had a board of people that we could turn to, like, look, and they're the ones who are saying, all right, guys, these are the things that we need to look out for. You have somebody who's in charge of the resources. You have somebody who's in charge of the communication, all these different types of things. I haven't heard anybody say that.
That's true.
Yeah, because just like how the military, just like how the military, it has different, the government has different branches. The protest should have different branches of communication, different, different sections. You have like the military has intelligence. You have the infantry. You have, people who do food. You have all that stuff. We need that. We don't have it. We need an organization.
Yeah, our own shit, man.
we need that's the solution. I feel like now we're so caught up, on the problem and what's going wrong and what doesn't look right instead of focusing on the solution and what we can do to refine refine the movement. Because again, shit, if I had my way and I was rich and I had a platform and people were listening to me, I'd be like, yo, call that shit something else. Don't call that shit Black Lives Matter no more. Because if it's truly funded by George Soros, and then it's the beneath the surface, you know what I'm saying? Because we're talking about surface level stuff. If we're talking about beneath the surface and what it really is, I'd be like, yo, let's call it something else. But because he called it that.
Start your own movement. You can't change. You start your own movement. You can't even like change a movement. Just people gonna call it that still.
No, because people, I think people are so quick to. And Young Pharaoh was saying that these people are so quick to write something off as conspiracy and that's not real and all, bruh. What it look like ain't always what it is. You know what I mean? That's a fact. Because I'm like, because people, if I went and started saying that shit to people, like even if I said, oh, Trump is probably the good guy, people look at me crazy.
Especially after all the pedophile shit that just came out.
About who?
About Trump.
There's pedophile shit about Hillary Clinton too. He was literally talking about that whole shit. That's the thing. I don't know. I think they're scapegoating dude, bro. I don't know. Not to say that I want to vote for the dude, but because there's no one else to vote for. It's either you voting for one, you voting for the other. But it's a lesser of two evils. Yeah. Honestly, if you think about it, because this my favorite boxing channel, he said that he was like he's not voting for Biden because he would rather somebody punch him in the face than stab him in the back. Right? Like, would you rather be punched in the face or stabbed in the back?
He said he's not voting for Biden?
He said he's not voting for Biden.
Oh yeah.
Because he'd rather be punched in the face than stabbed in the back by Biden, bro.
And he's using that whole guy's like, oh, I was working under Obama. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, and then people will give him a pass just for that, knowing damn well that secretly he might mean you harm.
Yeah.
Because Obama had 2 terms. He didn't. Things are still the same.
It's facts. I didn't do a damn thing.
Yeah, I'm like, and that's the thing. The criteria for which we use our votes, which is powerful enough, shouldn't be just because he's black or what you think he is.
Yeah.
Because what I mean, and I'm saying this not from the most informed place. It's not from the most educated place. So I don't have all the information, but from the information that I do have makes me want to do a little bit more reading for myself. Because You know, I can't, because if you ask me why I voted for Obama, you know, back in, what was the last election? Like, what, 2012?
I would say
2012 election? 2020 election? Yeah, I mean, if you had asked me, I'd be like, yeah, because he's black.
Facts. Now realizing how ignorant niggas is being. Not just voting for, you know what I mean, who looks good in office. Make a change.
Yeah, man.
Nah, that's really scary though when you think about it. It's between Biden and Trump. It's really just the lesser two evils.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, and then for me to watch that documentary is, what's funny? It's actually on Hulu, so I'll send that shit to you.
Oh, you found it? The one that you was watching that day?
Yeah, it's back up there, and yeah, for them to be like, because you literally have two. It's literally like an invisible war that you just can't. You don't know what's that you have to be in those rooms, in those conversations of that status of wealth or in the know to know what's going on. It's literally like a war that we don't know.
So you just playing video games?
Wait, you said pretend I'm playing video games?
No, I said you're usually playing video games.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. Damn, what the fuck do I normally say? Shit, fuck. Usually it's easier when I got my camera. All right, so this is all that I have, or that we have for today.
I think it sound like a robot.
Shit, I mean, yo, yeah, what you want me to say?
He said, yeah. So this is all we have here for today.
Yeah, you know. I appreciate anybody watching. I appreciate anybody who watched this video. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Any of your thoughts are much appreciated, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.